All right, good evening, everybody. First of all, thank you for joining us for the first of two sessions for this virtual public meeting for the upcoming Commercial Boulevard RRR, which is Resurfacing, Restoration, Rehabilitation, and Intelligent Transportation Systems (ITS) Improvements Project along Commercial Boulevard from SR 817 University Drive to SR 818 North Ocean Drive in the cities of Tamarack, Lauderdale Lakes, North Lauderdale, Fort Lauderdale, Oakland Park, and the town of Lauderdale by the Sea in Broward County, Florida. The financial project ID numbers for this project are 446182-1, -52-01, 0203, 441944-1, -52-01 and 02, and finally 441944-2, -52-01. And today's date is Wednesday, December 11th, 2024. Slide 2, virtual public meeting orientation. My name is Christian Gonzalez. I will be the community outreach specialist for this project. And tonight, just to kind of go over some rules of engagement. This is the first of two virtual sessions. The first session is going to run from 5 to 5:30, and the second session is going to run from 5:30 to 6 p.m. And just so everybody knows, a recording of this virtual public meeting will be posted to the District 4 website, www.d4fdot.com, between tonight and first thing in the morning. Slide 3, Title 6. The Florida Department of Transportation is required to comply with various non-discrimination laws and regulations, including Title 6 of the Civil Rights Act of 1964. Public participation is solicited without regard to race, color, national origin, age, sex, religion, disability, or family status. Persons wishing to express concerns about Title VI may do so by contacting either of the Title VI coordinators you see on the screen, the Title VI coordinator for District 4, and the statewide Title VI coordinator. Slide 4, participating in GoToWebinar. Please note that this meeting is being recorded and all attendees will remain muted throughout the duration of the presentation. Throughout the presentation, attendees are welcome to submit questions or comments using the GoToWebinar question panel. Responses will be provided during the question and answer portion at the end. During the question and answer session at the end of the presentation, click the raise hand button in the control panel if you wish to speak. Your microphone will be unmuted when your name is called. If you experience technical difficulties, please contact GoToWebinar support at 1-833-851-8340. Should you lose audio during this session, please open the GoToWebinar control panel and change your audio to phone audio or no audio, then switch back to computer audio. If this does not work, you may need to exit and re-enter the webinar. Slide 5, elected official acknowledgement. At this time, I would like to take the chance to welcome any elected officials that we have here with us today. So seeing as we do not have any elected officials in attendance for this first session, we will proceed to the next slide. Slide 6, meeting the team. With us as part of the design and construction teams for this project, we have Mr. Christopher Komprosky, who is our FDOT construction project manager, Ms. Heidi Cuevas, who is our senior project engineer with CDR McGuire Engineering. Our project administrator is Mr. Jonathan Guzman, again with CDR McGuire Engineering. Myself, Christian Gonzalez, is the community outreach specialist with the Cordino Group. We have from the design side, Mr. Robert Lopez, who is the district project engineer for District 4, FDOT District 4. Mr. Brian Wilson, who's the consultant design project manager with KCI Technologies, and Ms. Costanza Suarez, who's the adaptive signals task leader with Gannett Fleming Incorporated. Slide 7, FDOT mission statement. The Florida Department of Transportation's mission is to provide a safe statewide transportation system that promotes the efficient movements of people and goods, supports the state's economic competitiveness, prioritizes Florida's environment and natural resources, and preserves the quality of life and connectedness in the state's communities. The department focuses on key areas to achieve that include safety, resiliency, supply chain, technology, and workforce development. Each of these elements touches the lives of the people who use our roadways every day. FDOT understands the community's unique needs and builds a transportation system that improves the connectivity, enhances the quality of life, and achieves a shared community vision. Slide 8, excuse me, the 2055 Florida Transportation Plan. The 2055 Florida Transportation Plan is a comprehensive statewide blueprint guiding Florida's 30-year transportation future. The FTP's transportation policy lays the foundation for investments into FDOT's work program. This plan update will be developed over the next 18 months, adopted in November 2025. Our goal is that the FTP will be the plan for which Florida's communities can see themselves and our stakeholders can use to develop the transportation plans and strategies. We welcome you to join the process by participating in one of the 5 diverse focus groups, which are safety, resilient infrastructure, economic development, workforce development, and technology. Attend one of the remaining regional workshops in August 2025, or one of the statewide webinars. Please visit the FDOT 2055 Florida Transportation Plan website at floridaftp.com for more information and meeting dates. Slide 9, project limits and overview. As mentioned at the opening of our webinar, our project is going to run along State Road 870 Commercial Boulevard between SR 817 University Drive and North Ocean Drive. The purpose of our project is to enhance the safety, resiliency, and longevity of these multiple communities. The corridor length is around 9.9 miles. Contractor is SICE Incorporated. The construction start is January 2025 with an estimated completion of early 2027, and our contract cost is around $25.7 million. Slide 10, scope of work. As part of the improvements along Commercial Boulevard, our roadway improvements will encompass milling and resurfacing the existing roadway along Commercial Boulevard between Powerline Road and North Ocean Drive to enhance long-term resilience. We're also going to be constructing a new mid-block pedestrian crosswalk at the intersection of Commercial Boulevard and Northeast 26th Avenue to enhance safety and connectivity for pedestrians. And finally, upgrading sidewalks, driveways, curb ramps, pavement markings, and signage to improve visibility and accessibility. And as you can see, the image to your right is the pre-construction or pre-activity conditions of the intersection of Commercial Boulevard and Northeast 26th Avenue, where the new mid-block pedestrian crosswalk will be installed. Slide 11, scope of work continued. As part of our continued scope of work, some signal, pedestrian, and lighting improvements include installing ITS devices, better known as Intelligent Transportation System devices, and upgrading adaptive traffic signal control cameras and dynamic messaging signs throughout the project limits. We're also going to be upgrading signalization from span wire to mast arms at the intersection of Commercial Boulevard and Woodlands Boulevard. Going to be improving pedestrian signals at various signalized intersections throughout the project limits to enhance push-button accessibility. And finally, we're going to be upgrading light poles with new LED fixtures and installing additional light poles throughout the project limits to improve nighttime visibility. As you can see the images on your right, we have an example of some of the dynamic messaging signs that are going to be installed, and also a pre-construction photo of what the intersection of Commercial Boulevard and Woodlands Boulevard looks like. And you can see the current span wire is currently there. And obviously, by the time our project is done, there will be 4 new mast arms at this intersection. So slide 12, the proposed typical section. At this time, I am going to pass the torch over to our project manager, Mr. Christopher Komprosky, to go over the proposed typical section and talk about some of the impacts to traffic and how we're coordinating with local officials. Chris?
Thank you, Christian. Proposed typical section for this project. In this typical section, it depicts Commercial Boulevard from Powerline Road to State Road 818/North Ocean Drive. Here we can look at the westbound and eastbound traffic, which again depicts the final condition after construction is completed, which is showing resurfacing as well as reconstruction operations along the corridor. So next slide. Slide 13, traffic impacts. Here we'll discuss the maintenance of traffic. So lane closures along State Road 870 Commercial Boulevard are permitted as needed, weekdays and weekends for this project. So daily, the time frame is from 9 a.m. until 4 p.m. and nightly, 7 p.m. until 6 a.m. Sorry about that, just some technical difficulties over here. Continuing on, motorists and pedestrians access to businesses and residents will be maintained at all times. Additionally, information about lane closures, detours, and pedestrian impacts will be provided in the weekly traffic report distributed by FDOT and can be viewed using the following link at www.d4fdot.com/bcfdot. Next slide, please. Slide 14. So we'll discuss safety and local coordination. So again, public safety is our top priority. That means work zone signage and maintenance of traffic. Therefore, advanced warning and project signage will be placed throughout the construction corridor to alert the traveling public. Local agency and stakeholder coordination. The project team will continue working closely with local stakeholders, including municipalities, schools, neighborhoods, and other local agencies to ensure safety standards are met and impacts to the public are minimized in any way possible. Emergency vehicles will be provided access at all times. And that completes my portion of the presentation, and I'll pass it back over to Christian Gonzalez. Thank
you. So slide 15, community outreach. As I stated again, my name is Christian Gonzalez. I will be the community outreach specialist for this project. To receive any specific project-related updates, my contact information is going to be provided here. You can email me at csgonzalez@cordino.com to be added to our distribution list. As Chris briefly mentioned in the previous slide, we do have a weekly press release traffic report that does get distributed every Friday. And additional project-specific information can be found on the website. And a recording, like I had mentioned at the opening, a recording of the virtual public meeting will be posted to www.d4fdot.com. And all project updates will be posted to the District 4 website. And again, if you need to access the website, you can scan the QR code and it'll take you directly to the district's webpage. Slide 16, reminder for participating in GoToWebinar. A reminder to our previous slide, all attendees will remain muted, and but those who wish to continue submitting any questions or comments can do so using the GoToWebinar question panel. If you wish to speak, please click the raise hand button on the control panel and your microphone will be unmuted when your name is called. If you experience any technical difficulties, please contact GoToWebinar support at 1-833-851-8340. Should you lose audio during the session, please open the GoToWebinar control panel and change your audio to phone audio or no audio, then switch it back to computer audio. If this does not work, you may need to exit and re-enter the webinar. So now at this time, for those members of our project team that are here with us live, I do welcome you to turn on your cameras as we prepare for our virtual question and answer session. This is the first of two in this hour of our virtual public meeting component of our project. So I do want to now give the floor to any of our attendees that we currently have online with us this evening. I would like to remind everybody that if you do wish to speak, you can click the raise hand button and I will click your name when you are unmuted, so you can be unmuted. So this is the time now to ask questions. So I know we have a few attendees online with us right at this moment. So if anybody would like to ask any questions, make any comments, statements, please do so, and we have members of our team from both the construction and the design teams to answer any specifics that you may have. Okay, so seeing as we do not have any, we haven't received any questions or comments from those in attendance tonight, we will proceed to, hold on. We will go ahead and proceed with closing out this first session of our VPM tonight. So just as a reminder, the contact us slide here, slide 18. We do have the contact information slide for our main project team when we do get into construction. The contact information we have on your screen here is for the FDOT construction project manager, Mr. Christopher Komprosky, the senior project engineer, Ms. Heidi Cuevas, the project administrator, Mr. Jonathan Guzman, and myself, Christian Gonzalez, as the community outreach specialist. And feel free to take note of our contact information if there's any questions or concerns that arise during construction, or just need any general inquiries, concerns addressed. Please feel free to reach out to us. We do want to keep an open, transparent line with the public when it comes to these issues. So there's always a way to get a hold of us. So the contact information on your screen here is going to be provided to you, and then throughout the project, questions or comments can be submitted to, like I said, to any one of us. So to wrap it up, slide 19, our FDOT safety message. Remember to don't let a DUI shake up your holidays. If you're high, get a ride. If you feel different, you drive different, drive high and get a DUI. And this message is brought to you by the National Highway Transportation Safety Administration. And with that, slide 20 concludes the first of 2 virtual sessions for our Commercial Boulevard RRR and ITS improvement projects. We'll take a short break and get ready for our next session in about 10 minutes or so. Okay, thank you guys. So good evening, everybody. Thank you for sticking around. This is the second of two virtual meetings for the State Road 870 Commercial Boulevard Resurfacing, Restoration, and Rehabilitation and Intelligent Transportation Systems Improvements Project along Commercial Boulevard from SR 817 University Drive to SR 81A North Ocean Drive in the cities of Tamarack, Lauderdale Lakes, Fort Lauderdale, North Lauderdale, Oakland Park, and the town of Lauderdale by the Sea in Broward County, Florida. Financial project IDs for this project are 446182-1, -52-01, 02, and 03, 441944-1, -52-01 and 02, and finally 441944-2, -52-01. Today's date is Wednesday, December 11th, 2024. Slide 2, virtual public meeting orientation. As mentioned in the first session, my name is Christian Gonzalez, the Community Outreach Specialist with the Coordino Group for this project along Commercial Boulevard. A couple of housekeeping rules. This is the second of two virtual sessions for tonight's meeting. The first one just concluded and ran from 5 to 5:30, and the current one is running from 5:30 to 6 p.m. And please note that a recording of this virtual public meeting will be posted at the end of the day or tomorrow or by end of the day tomorrow to www.d4fdot.com. Slide 3, Title 6. The Florida Department of Transportation is required to comply with various non-discrimination laws and regulations, including Title 6 of the Civil Rights Act of 1964. Public participation is solicited without regard to race, color, national origin, age, sex, religion, disability, or family status. Persons wishing to express Title 6 concerns about Title 6 may do so by contacting either the two contacts you see on your screen. We have the contact for the District 4 Title 6 coordinator and the statewide Title 6 coordinator up in Tallahassee. Slide 4, participating in GoToWebinar. A reminder that this meeting is being recorded, and all attendees will remain muted throughout the duration of the presentation. Throughout the presentation, attendees are welcome to submit questions or comments using the GoToWebinar question panel, and responses will be provided during the question and answer portion at the end. During the Q&A session at the end of the presentation, you can click the raise hand button on the control panel if you wish to speak, and your microphone will be unmuted when your name is called. If you experience any technical difficulties, please contact GoToWebinar support at 1-833-851-8340. Should you lose audio during the session, please open the GoToWebinar control panel and change your audio to phone audio or no audio, then switch back to computer audio. If this does not work, you may need to exit and re-enter the webinar. Slide 5, elected official acknowledgement. At this time, we would like to take the opportunity to welcome any elected officials that are here with us virtually tonight. Seeing as we do not have any elected officials with us present for this second session, we will proceed to the next slide. Slide 6, meet the team. As part of our keeping transparency with the community, we do have members from both our construction and our design team with us here tonight. From the construction side, we have Mr. Christopher Komprosky, who's our FDOT construction project manager out of the Broward Operations Center. We have Ms. Heidi Cuevas, who is our senior project engineer with CDR McGuire Engineering. Mr. Jonathan Guzman, who is our project administrator, also with CDR McGuire Engineering. Myself, Christian Gonzalez, is Community Outreach Specialist with the Coordino Group. From the design side, we have Mr. Robert Lopez, who is the design project manager for FDOT District 4. Mr. Brian Wilson is the consultant design project manager for KCI Technologies. And Ms. Constanza Suarez is our adaptive signals traffic task lead, with Gannett Fleming Incorporated. Slide 7, our FDOT Compass. The Florida Department of Transportation mission is to provide a safe statewide transportation system that promotes the efficient movement of people and goods, supports the state's economic competitiveness, prioritizes Florida's environment and natural resources, and preserves the quality of life and connectedness in the state's communities. The department focuses on these key areas to achieve that include safety, resiliency, supply chain, technology, workforce development, and communities. Each of these elements touches the lives of the people who use our roadways every day, and FDOT understands the community's unique needs and builds a transportation system that improves connectivity and enhances the quality of life and achieves a shared community vision. Slide 8, 2055 Florida Transportation Plan. The 2055 FTP is a comprehensive statewide blueprint guiding Florida's 30-year transportation future. The FTP's transportation policy lays the foundation for investments into FDOT's work program. This plan update will be developed over the next 18, adapted over the next 18 months. And our goal is that the FTP will be the plan in which Florida's communities can see themselves and our stakeholders can use to develop their transportation plans and strategies. We welcome you to join the process by participating in one of the 5 diverse focus groups, which includes safety, resilient infrastructure, economic development, workforce development, and technology. Attend our regional workshop on August 2025 or one of our statewide webinars. Please visit the FDOT 2055 Florida Transportation Plan website at floridaftp.com for more information and meeting dates. Slide 9, project limits and overview. As mentioned in the beginning, our project corridor does run along State Road 870 Commercial Boulevard between SR 817 University Drive and SR 818 North Ocean Drive. The purpose of this project aims to enhance the resiliency, longevity, and safety of our communities. The project corridor length is around 1.89 miles. Contractor is SICE Incorporated. The construction start is January 2025 with an estimated completion of early 2027 and an estimated contract cost around $25.7 million. Slide 10, scope of work. As part of our scope of work, roadway improvements along Commercial Boulevard include the milling and resurfacing of the existing roadway from Powerline Road to North Ocean Drive to ensure long-term resilience. We're going to be constructing a new mid-block pedestrian crosswalk at the intersection of Commercial Boulevard and Northeast 26th Avenue to enhance safety and connectivity for pedestrians. And finally, upgrading sidewalks, driveways, curb ramps, pavement markings, and signage to improve visibility and accessibility. As you can see, the image on your right is what the pre-construction field looks like at the intersection of Commercial Boulevard and Northeast 26th Avenue, where we're going to be constructing and installing this new mid-block pedestrian crosswalk. Slide 11, scope of work continued. The signal, pedestrian, and lighting improvements for this project include installing intelligent transportation system devices or ITS devices, upgrading adaptive traffic signal control cameras, and dynamic messaging signage throughout the project limits. We're going to be upgrading the signalization from span wire to mast arms at the intersection of Commercial Boulevard and Woodlands Boulevard. We're going to be improving pedestrian signals at various signalized intersections throughout the project limits to enhance push button accessibility. And finally, upgrading existing light poles with new LED fixtures and installing additional light poles throughout the project limits to improve nighttime visibility. And as you can see here, the 2 images on the right is an example of what a new dynamic messaging sign will look like, and also the existing conditions of the intersection of Commercial Boulevard and Woodlands Boulevard, where you can see the current span wire, which will be changed to full functioning traffic signal masters. Slide 12, proposed typical section. At this time, I do want to pass the torch over to our project manager, Mr. Christopher Komprosky, to go over the proposed typical section, talk about what to expect during construction, and some coordination with some of our local officials. Go ahead, Chris.
Well, as you mentioned, this is slide 12, and we'll discuss the proposed typical section. This typical section obviously depicts the work that's going to take place, as well as the finished condition along Commercial Boulevard from Powerline Road to State Road 818, North Ocean Drive. We can see here that both the westbound and eastbound directions will be conducting milling and resurfacing and reconstruction operations along this corridor. I'll move on to the next slide. Slide 13, traffic impacts, maintenance of traffic. So lane closures along Commercial Boulevard are permitted as needed, weekdays and weekends. This will be performed daily 9 a.m. until 4 p.m. and nightly 7 p.m. until 6 a.m. Motorists and pedestrian access to businesses and residents will be maintained at all times. Additional information about closures, lane closures, detours, and pedestrian impacts will be provided in the weekly traffic report distributed by FDOT and can be viewed using the following link. Next slide, please. Slide 14, safety and local coordination. So public safety is our top priority. Work zone signage and maintenance of traffic. Under this section, advanced warning and project signage will be placed throughout the construction corridor to alert the traveling public. For local agency and stakeholder coordination, the project team will continue working closely with local stakeholders, including local municipalities, schools, neighborhoods, and other local agencies to ensure safety standards are met and impacts to the public are minimized in any way possible. Emergency vehicles will be provided access at all times. And that concludes 14. And I would like to pass the presentation back over to Christian Gonzalez.
Thank you, Chris. So slide 15 is our community outreach slide. Please ensure that if you wish to receive any project-specific updates, you can please do so by emailing me at csgonzalez@coordino.com to be added to our distribution list. A weekly press release, as Chris mentioned previously, we do send out a press release traffic report every Friday, and any additional project-specific information can be found on the website, along with a recording of this virtual public meeting, which will be posted to the website, www.d4fdot.com. And we have here on the slide a QR code that'll take you to our District 4 project page. Slide 16, reminder for participating in GoToWebinar. A reminder for those in attendance that all of the attendees will remain muted, and those who wish to submit questions or comments can continue to do so using the GoToWebinar question panel. If you wish to speak, please remember to click the raise hand button on the control panel and your microphone will be unmuted when your name is called. If you experience any technical difficulties, please contact GoToWebinar support at 1-833-851-8340. Should you lose audio during the session, please open the GoToWebinar control panel and change your audio to phone audio or no audio, then switch it back to computer audio. If this does not work, you may need to exit and re-enter the webinar. So at this time, I would like to welcome our project team to open up their cameras as we get set to answer at least one question that we have from one of our attendees here with us tonight. While I wait for everybody to upload and turn on their cameras, just give it a few minutes while everybody joins us. So with that, let's dive into our first question, Mr. Rocio Arana. I apologize if I may have mispronounced the last name, but Rocio, please go ahead, and your microphone is unmuted. So go ahead and please feel free to ask your question.
Yes, thank you. This is Rocio. Oh, my question is, are you guys gonna work in parts this project, and where are you gonna start in University or A1A?
So I guess to reiterate the question to our group is Ms. Arana is asking where we're going to be starting.
Correct. I would like to pass this over to the project administrator. Recently, we received a CPM schedule from the contractor, which I believe it depicts us starting on the western end of the project and are working our way towards east. But John Guzman can talk in more detail regarding that.
So we have the contractor with us in the table as well. We can try to narrow down what area specifically you may be interested in and kind of narrow down a better timeline. Would you know where in the corridor you're more in question with?
A1A and commercial.
A1A and commercial.
Yes. Trade winds, that area. Yes.
Yeah, way later on.
Excuse me,
Not
I can hear you.
until construction until I would say March, April.
So the contractor, Ms. Arana, was I'm sorry, I apologize if you couldn't hear him correctly. But he was talking about that, and like Chris had mentioned that our contract schedule right now has, kind of activities starting from the west going towards the east. So by the time we do get to your area, which, correct me if I misunderstood you, you said you were on commercial and A1A, correct?
Yes.
Okay. And you guys said not till,
Not until I would say April.
so we're looking at about end of April, is when we're going to be in that area of A1A and Commercial Boulevard, with some of our improvements.
And to add to that, as we progress through the project, we'll be providing weekly updates. So before we reach, February, March, we'll be notifying yourself, which you should be included in our disbursements, letting you know when we're going to be having lane closures in that area. So in the event that you need to prepare or make adjustments for your commute, you'll have that information available to you.
Okay. Okay. Thank you. So that means from April to 2027, you are gonna keep working in the whole area.
So,
It's
so,
not
so
by
that
parts, like first. Yes.
exactly. So that estimated completion is just the project in its entirety.
Mhm.
Depending on the activities, we can be in certain areas for a couple days, a couple weeks.
Yeah.
But obviously, like Chris had mentioned, we do send out these weekly updates. So the community is always going to be informed as to where our contractor is working, where they currently have their lane closures, and so on and so forth. So we'll definitely make sure, Ms. Arana, to add you to our distribution list. And
Thank you.
as we go through the slides, you have my contact information will be there. I do suggest to reach me first, before reaching out to anybody else, because the question can get lost in translation. So we obviously want to make sure that any question that the community has, is addressed in a timely manner, and just make sure that nothing falls through the cracks. So as we go through the slide, if you stick through the end, I am going to share my contact information again, so you can take a screenshot if you're not driving, if you're home, or write it down. But please take down our contact information. If you have any questions, or if you kind of just want to know a general update on our project, we'll be able to provide that, to you in a timely manner.
Okay. Thank you very much. Thank
Okay,
you.
thank you so much. Okay. Seeing as we do not have any more questions, we're going to go ahead and proceed to start to close out our meeting here. So let's see here. So again, slide 18 is our contact information slide. Throughout the project, questions and comments can be submitted via phone or email to any of the four contacts you see on your screen. Contact information here we have is for Mr. Christopher Komprosky, again, who is our FTOT construction project manager. Ms. Heidi Cuevas, who is our senior project engineer. Mr. Jonathan Guzman, who's our project administrator, and myself, Christian Gonzalez, as the community outreach specialist. Slide 19, our FTOT safety message. As a reminder, as the holidays are coming up, don't let a DUI shake up your holidays. If you're high, get a ride. If you feel different, you drive different. And this message is brought to you by the National Highway Transportation Safety Administration. And with that, slide 20 is the conclusion of our virtual session for tonight's public meeting. We are going to stick around for another 10 minutes or so, just to make sure there aren't any questions that come in at the last minute. So for those who are an attendee, if you want to stick around, you can stick around. If you want to ask a question, you can ask a question. But we're going to stick around for another 10 minutes or so, just to make sure that all questions that are received are answered in a timely manner. So we're going to go ahead and stick around for another couple minutes. Thank you.